Welcome to Lighting for Profits.
All light.
Powered by Emery Allen.
Get rid of your excuses.
Your number one source for all things landscape lighting.
That's where the magic can happen. You can really scale a business.
We really had to show up for each other.
From lighting design, install, sales, and marketing.
You're a scaredy cat salesman, Kurt.
We discuss everything you need to know to start and grow a successful landscape lighting business.
What do you think a hippo has to do with your business, Ryan?
Usually it's some weird childhood thing. Some bully kicked your butt.
I think the key factor here is trust.
Here is your host, Ryan Lee.
All light. Let's go. I'm so fired up, you guys. We got an awesome show lined up. I'm Ryan Lee, the host of Lighting for Profits, powered by Emery Allen, of course. Want to thank them for their support. We got a great show, guys. I don't know if you know this, but the show is growing. And in fact, it used to just be the number one landscape lighting show in Lehigh, Utah. But now we're the number one landscape lighting show in Fredericksburg, Virginia, Boise, Idaho, and now recently Ontario, Canada. It is so cool to see the show grow, guys. I mean, I can't believe that the votes are coming in, but here we are. And it's just an awesome time. So if you're looking to start or grow a landscape lighting business, you're definitely in the right place. We're here to educate and motivate to help you dominate. I want to make you feel bad if you have not given a review yet. I'm still begging and pleading for those 5-star reviews on Apple, guys. I'm telling you, the more reviews you give to the world, the more you get back. So if you're trying to grow your review presence, just help a brother out. I don't know if this was a joke or not, but we made it to 69 reviews on Apple, and then we've just stalled out. Like, it's just stalled out. Like, come on, guys. Really? Are you going to do that to me? You're going to leave it at number 69? Like, I think it's a practical joke. So break the curse. Let's get it to 100. Once we get to 100, I'll probably stop begging and asking. Okay. So hook me up, go on there. And if you got some value out of the show, give me 5 stars, write something nice. I'd really appreciate it. And to those of you that have, thank you so much. I mean, the reviews are phenomenal. I'm super grateful, but it's never enough. Guys, this week in about 5 minutes, we're going to have some really cool guests on. We're going to do kind of a secret summit recap and some of our top takeaways, but we've got some newcomers to the show. One of them is Paul Gardner. Another is Scott Ruhoff, and the other is Colton Tompkins. So you're not going to want to miss this, because we're going to talk about, a lot of people missed out. There was people that wanted to come to Secret Summit, and they're like, oh, they dragged their feet. They made excuses. And then after, they're like, oh man, I wish I would have come, and blah, blah, blah. Right. Well, we are going to give you a little bit of insight on some of the things that these guys took away. And we're going to talk landscape lighting. We're going to talk shop. We're going to talk business. So I'm excited to have these guys on in just a few minutes. And of course, want to thank Emery Allen for their support. So what's the best way to stand out of the crowd? Well, being different. So set yourself apart from others in the lighting industry and impress your customers by installing Emery Allen lamps. You'll discover a higher level of quality across the board, from the lamps themselves to the top tier customer support you can expect to get if you have any issues or questions. Right now is the best time to make the switch. In fact, all you need to do is email Tom G at emeryallen.com, Tom G at emeryallen.com. He will get you your account set up. He'll get you that discounted contractor price. Guys, I've been saying this every week now for a couple of years. I'm still surprised to find that people are buying cheap lamps at like the big box stores and online. I'm like, what are you doing, guys? There's high quality lamps for not a lot of money. Like, I don't know if you've looked into their pricing, but don't go onto their website. Email Tom G at emeryallen.com, because he's going to get you that discounted contractor price. All you need to do is mention that you heard about him here on Lighting for Profits. And they got a great output. That single source LED is pretty rock solid. All right, guys. Thank you, Emery Allen, for your support. They supported our summit as well. So we had lots of good manufacturers donate swag and a bunch of different things as well. So, guys, before we have our guests on, again, we got Paul Gardner, Scott Ruhoff, and Colton Tompkins coming on in just a minute. Something on my mind real quick. I don't think I shared this. The other day, that could mean like 3 months ago, by the way. I was on a call with one of my coaches, and we were clarifying, like, what do I want? Like, what's an achievable goal? Instead of, like, you don't want to put a goal that's like, I want to be happy. Like, okay, well, how do you measure that? Right. So I decided, like, I like numbers because you can they're measurable, right? So I came up with this mission, and I'm sticking to it. Like I'm like, dude, this is achievable. It's still going to be hard to do, but it's going to be freaking awesome. So I want to create a billion with a B, $1 billion worth of value. And I want to do that by helping other people. And I'm going to do that by helping 1,000 businesses, 1,000 people, small businesses, do $1 million in revenue. That's math. Isn't that crazy? 1,000 people, 1 million bucks, $1 billion. I don't, because I'm like, man, I don't know. Can I become a billionaire? Like that's kind of a scary goal to say out loud. So I'm not willing to do that yet. But I'm like, we can become billionaires. Like 1,000 of us do $1 million a year. I mean, there's already lighting companies doing that, right? So, and I'm not saying a million, like, okay, a client's been with me for 10 years and they only do 100,000 a year and that's $1 million. Like, that's not part of the goal. Like $1 million a year, 1,000 companies. Can we do this? Like, of course we can do that. Like, let's go. That's $1 billion. Like $1 billion is a ton, you guys. Like it's not, it's $1 billion. It's not a ton, but it's a lot. Billion with a B. So I'm putting it out there so you guys can hold me accountable. You can ask me how my goal's going. We did some math the other day inside Landscape Lighting Secrets, and we've already helped our clients create or generate over $33 million in trackable revenue. And we say trackable because a lot of people don't even apply for our awards and share numbers and stuff like that. But over 33 million in trackable revenue, it's freaking awesome. So we're on our goal to $1 billion in value. And in an effort to do that, we recently launched 2.0. Last week, I think I was telling you guys about that, but and I got to tell you, it's pretty freaking insane. In fact, when we launched 2.0, like I've had this in my head for months now, so everything makes sense to me. But I know when I told everyone about it at Secret Summit, everyone's heads were spinning. Like, wait, what do we get? What do we like? It was kind of confusing. I'm like, okay, it makes sense. So we're literally over the next 6 months going to be rolling this out and making sure people understand the actual value that they get with this, because you get a lot. In fact, now one of the things that members have access to is 9. Most of them actually have access to 13, but 9 to 13 monthly calls. Okay. From topics ranging from design, installation, sales, marketing, general Q&A. I'm leading a general session with these people, but all these calls are led by industry experts. And with this kind of access, it's virtually impossible to fail now. Okay. You don't have just a course. It's a community now. So wherever you get stuck, there's multiple calls, 2 to 3 calls a week that you can jump onto and get unstuck. So I'm telling you this because not only did we launch Landscape Lighting Secrets 2.0, but I'm launching my own personal 2.0. Okay. And if I'm probably on version way past that, but not really. I've never been in a state of mind like I've been in the last few years. And I've decided I'm leveling up bigger, faster, stronger than ever before. I've got my 10,000 hours in. Okay. And that's what they say it takes to become an expert. And I finally have got my 10,000 hours in with Landscape Lighting Secrets, and I'm going pro. I'm going in pro mode. And if you want to be great and you want more than you have now, then here's the key. Here is the literal secret. Okay. And it sounds so basic. I'm going to be talking about this probably every day of my life now. Start acting like who you want to be. Start acting like who you want to be. So in business, a lot of people are like, well, man, I want to do $1 million a year. I want to do $5 million a year. Okay. What are you doing to do that? Are you acting like a $5 million company? If so, how many team members does a $5 million business have? Do you have those people? What does their branding look like? Was it a logo you just got on Fiverr? And that's it? How do they treat their team members? How do they pay? How much do they pay? How much do they spend on advertising? I'm going to be talking about this a lot, you guys. This economy is going to be tough. You got to be investing in yourself. You got to be investing in your business. How much time does a $5 million company spend developing relationships? Okay. Because I promise you, if you really wanted to be a $5 million company, you can, but you got to start acting like that. Okay. If you want to hire an office manager and you haven't raised your prices yet, you have to raise your prices so you can hire an office manager. These things, it sounds so simple, but this is how it's done. right? So from a business standpoint, start acting like the business you want to be. If you're not willing to invest in your business, you can't expect the outcome and the result. Like it's not going to happen. That's just craziness. That's not a dream. That's just craziness. And from a personal standpoint, if you want to level up, if you want to be someone who you're not, which we all do, we all have aspirations. We all have dreams. Like, oh man, that would be so cool. Man, it would be great if this, right? That's a dream. Those are desires. We all have desires. So what is it that you want? You want to be in better shape? How does that person eat? What do they like? Who do they associate with? Um, how often do they work out? How do they treat others? What activities do they do? How disciplined and focused are they? When you look at the people that you look up to, what are they doing and why are you not doing the exact same thing? That's literally what it comes down to. Okay. And it's crazy because my 1.0 version was always wanting stuff, but never willing to put in the effort to get there. I was like, oh man, that'd be cool if, and then it would just logically justify, oh, well, they have a rich dad or they have a rich uncle or, yeah, well, the economy was good, or you can make all the excuses in the world, but these people designed their dream life and went out and got it. Okay. So it does sound simple, and it is. Everyone wants to know the magic formula, but it starts with acting like who you want to be. Okay. What got you here will not get you there. You can't get what you want doing the same things you've done. You can't get what you want doing the same things you've done. It is only going to get you to where you are now. Right. So you literally have to become this new version of yourself and not be embarrassed by it. Okay. One of the activities we did at Landscape Lighting Secrets, the Secret Summit, was write down your goal. Write down your dream. Who do you want to be? And that's hard for a lot of people because you're like writing it down and you don't want people to see that you want to fly on a private jet. You don't want people to see that you want to buy an island, whatever it is, right? You're like, oh man, this is kind of embarrassing because most people don't have these big dreams, right? But right now is the time to become your 2.0. Okay. Level up, become that person you've always wanted because there's nothing holding you back except for you. Like you're literally the only person in your way. Unlock your own 2.0. Start right now. Like not be like, yeah, that's a good idea. Next week, I'm going to start thinking differently. Next month is my month. Oh, actually not next month because it's holiday lighting season, but January is when I'm really going to start to take over because then I have some downtime. That's never going to happen, you guys. That's called procrastination, and you'll keep procrastinating. Okay. Winners win. Procrastinators procrastinate. So it's not magic. There's not really a shortcut. Okay. But you can't keep expecting different results doing the same thing. All right. I got off my chest. I got my rant over. I think it's time to get our guests coming on. I'm more excited to have them on than me rant, but still, it was a good rant. And I mean everything. And I'm going to my 2.0 and I'm inviting you to your 2.0. And we do the journey together. Share your wins, share your losses, share your weaknesses, share your all the stuff that goes on. And let's do this together. So, all right. Enough of me. Let's go. All right, here they are, the dream team. What is up? Hey, guys, welcome to the show. Mr. Paul Gardner, Colton Tompkins, Scott Ruhoff. What's up, guys?
Hi. Happy to be here.
Heck yeah, man. I'm excited, you guys. This is probably a little uncomfortable. I had talked to at least Scott, and he was like, yeah, he was trying to come up with excuses why he couldn't make it, But I'm really proud of you guys for doing this because there was about 20 people in front of you that said no, but then we got down to the bottom of the list and you guys said no.
At least we were on a list.
Yeah, I love it. No, you guys were on the top. We actually invited 4 people and one person couldn't do it. So thanks for doing it. It goes along with the theme of getting uncomfortable. You know what I mean? So appreciate you guys coming on here. What I want to do first, maybe we'll just go around, do some quick introductions. What's your name of your business, how long you've had your lighting business, and we'll go from there. So you want to start us off, Paul?
Sure. Paul Gardner. I'm from Virginia. I've been in the lighting industry for about 25 years, but really landscape lighting is all new to me. I've been doing it for actually Ryan kind of introduced it to me. So I started seeing things online that he was distributing, and it was entertaining enough that it drew my interest. And I was like, I got to learn more about this Ryan guy. And next thing you know, I went to the first landscape lighting secrets training.
It was the first landscape lighting live down in West Palm Beach.
Yeah.
Yep. Front row.
So, I didn't even at the time jump right into the business because I was consumed with the other businesses I'm involved with. But this year has really been our first full year. So
yeah, very cool. It's interesting because I've told people that they're like, I don't know, should I go to Landscape Lighting Live? I'm not sure if I want to get into landscape lighting. And I'm like, dude, it's the perfect event to go to determine if you want to start a landscape lighting business. I mean, it's good for a lot of reasons, but I think people would come to that and go, this isn't for me. Like, this is too technical, or it's too designy, or too whatever, right? Or they're going to be like, this is awesome. Why am I not doing this?
To be honest with you, I recommend going regardless, because just the interaction with the other business owners. I mean, I learned stuff, last weekend that I didn't think I would learn at a lighting, training, but it's things that pertain to just the business in general. So it's worth it.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, and then like you said, that was 2 or 3 years ago. I'm starting to lose track of time now, but that was our first Landscape Lighting Live. We've been in contact. We see each other from time to time at different events. You sent Jim to a Landscape Lighting Live after you hired him to run your lighting company. And then now we're in, now you're doing Landscape Lighting Secrets. You were at Secret Summit. So maybe talk for a second, and then we'll introduce these other guys too, but talk for a second about that, because I think some people jump into a new business getting all excited, like if you would have done it a few years ago, but then you probably wouldn't have gotten as much traction and then maybe given up on it. That desire to like go 100 miles an hour, but then have the discipline to know, like you're a successful business guy, there's a time and a place when I should really launch this thing and go all in and how to do it.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm being honest, I probably did everything against what I teach people to do. I didn't take action quick enough. And the reality is, as soon as I came to your first training that I came to, like you said, probably about 3 years ago now, I knew I wanted to jump into the industry. I knew it was an attractive industry for me. I knew I had advantages coming in that wouldn't take much to motivate the people around me to get involved in it. So I did introduce it to James, or Jim. Everybody knows him as James because that's kind of his formal name, but Jim is what everyone calls him. I introduced him to the industry probably the same time I left your class. And I thought for a while, okay, we need to do it. Jim wants to do it. I want to do it. But I just kept stalling the action steps that were necessary. And when I say action steps, I'm just talking about just like formalizing, procedures and processes to start getting quotes out there, and, a marketing plan, a marketing campaign. And so I had all these opportunities to cross market and just really exaggerate it or talk myself out of why I shouldn't do it right now. Timing's not right. So many other things were going on at that time, but I wish I had done it. So just really, I should have taken the action. But at the same time, I think for anyone who comes to any type of training and getting to know some of the individuals at that training, because some of the relationships I built outside of you, Ryan, which obviously, you and I have stayed in touch, like you said, for the last couple of years. I met some other individuals, and during the course of the last 2 or 3 years, they encouraged me, they motivated me, and I learned some things throughout, the last couple of years prior to getting into the business that were definitely a major segue to allow myself to enter into the business without really having any, hurdles to get over. It was really, now that we're in it and we're doing it, and now that we've joined your program, I mean, we're as relevant as the guy that's been around for 15 years. So it's a nice thing to see as it all comes together. But I wish I had not taught myself how to take an action quicker, which is something we all do as business owners. We procrastinate on taking action.
Yeah, exactly. It's always easier said than done. But no, thanks for sharing. And man, I'm looking so forward to working with you guys, because I highly look up to you as this. You already have success in lots of different verticals. And then to bring that knowledge into the landscape lighting field is going to be phenomenal. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right, Mr. Scott Ruhoff, you want to do a quick intro of yourself?
Sure. Scott Ruhoff, Boise, Idaho born and bred. Go Vandals. If anybody knows who the Vandals are.
Nobody does.
Anyhow, I own After Dark Landscape Lighting. I have been at this since the good old days, or the olden days. I started in the early 90s. I kind of fell into this. I was selling cellular telephones back when they were in the big bag phones, and the brick phone was the latest and greatest. Had a buddy who was working for a landscaper. Landscaper got the dealership for invisible fencing back in like 92, 93, hired me to start the business. Took us forever to start it. So he said, hey, you're putting wire in the ground. I've got some clients who want to do lighting. So I kind of fell into this. I'm definitely an accidental entrepreneur. Unlike a lot of the guys in this group. So I've for decades, for a long time, I was that guy who didn't put a lot of thought into my goals. I had a good, solid business. I was doing enough things right that obviously I survived for 27, 28 years. But I was involved in the LVLIA back when before it was AOLP. That was the thing that allowed me to realize that you could make a living doing this.
Nice.
So I was more involved back in the early days. I kind of pulled back just due to family reasons and stuff for the past 5, 6, 7, 8 years, which did not serve me well. I got to a point where I was very burnt out, and just tapped out. So over the past couple of years, and due in large part, I got to say, to the podcasts and just kind of getting the input and outside influence, I have been working on the business quite a bit. Joined Landscape Lighting Secrets last year, and since then, in the past year, even picking the low hanging fruit, we've increased sales probably pushing 30%. So I'm biting off bits of the apple as we go and making progress. So
heck yeah, very cool, man. You said you've survived or whatever, but dude, most businesses don't make it to 5 years. So
yeah,
whatever you've done, it's kind of like the oh crap, now I can't think of the name of the book, The Gap in the Gain. It's like, we always want more. There's always like this gap. But if you look backwards and you measure backwards, it's like, hell yeah, dude, you should celebrate yourself big time, because most people are not capable of doing what you did and have done. And you're just this accidental entrepreneur, which, by the way, that doesn't make you special, because that's all of us. Like we all did not like go, you know what, I'm going to be an entrepreneur when I grow up and get into lighting. It just like happened. And then we're like, crap, now we have to figure it out.
yeah.
But it does make you special that you've been doing this that long, dude. So congrats to you. Maybe talk for a second, because, that lone wolf thing, which used to be me, like, right. So when people don't want to join my program or like make fun of me or whatever, like, I don't care, because I'm like, that's kind of like what I used to be, I get them. Right. Talk about how much, because you said you're up about 30%, which is freaking amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How much of that was like a tactic versus how much that you learned, or just like being part of a community and sharing with others and seeing others win and getting that, motivation?
Yeah, you bet. A little bit of all of the above. But the first part was really just getting my own crap together and deciding, okay, I've been taking care of my clients. I've been doing what I need to do, but where the hell am I going? I'm 50. Well, I was 56 at the time. What am I doing with this business? It kind of hit me like a brick wall. So I did sit back and kind of just start picking it again, low hanging fruit. I started getting some systems. I started thinking about what my guys were doing, my installers, and why. So I was kind of working, I guess, on my own, trying to listen to more positive, radio show or podcasts. Of course, yours being one of them. Over the first year, just listening to your podcast again, I don't know why I didn't join for a year. I should have done it from the get-go. I mean, and honestly, because I'm like, everything he's saying, I haven't done everything you've said, but everything you've said is non-BS. I mean, everything makes sense. And I did start kind of sprinkling those into my business. And I think it started taking off last fall. at least somewhat directly from joining this, because I think there was a lot more accountability in the circle of excellence, and you calling me out saying, so are you going to do this or not? Once I committed and started writing a check every month, it gave me, a little more fire under my butt to do the things that I already knew I needed to do. So this has just helped me to find it. And it's it's an ongoing process. All these weekly meetings, podcasts are just reinforcing the things I need to do. And keeping me on the right path, if you will.
Cool. No, thanks for sharing. Well, you bring up a lot of good points. I think that the hardest part is number one is intention. Like, your intentions have totally changed since you've joined, and maybe since you started listening to the podcast, whatever. And so when you have the right trajectory, that's huge, because now you at least have this goal line that you can move toward. Then the next thing is like, okay, how do I implement all this stuff? And it's hard because it's not like you're living in a cloud and like the business is running itself, and then you just have 5 days a week to be the implementer and the visionary. You're still like involved in all that stuff. So, it's a process for sure. And that's why I tell people it's not a get rich quick scheme. It's not like you join a program and your wildest dreams are going to come true instantly. It does take extreme effort, extreme intention to make sure that you're moving forward every single day. And sometimes you only move forward like a foot a day. You're like, crap, did I even move forward? Just the fact that you had intention, you did, but it just didn't feel like it. So well done on your end to be aware of that, because most people aren't even aware of that, and then set that intention, and you'll see yourself getting more and more momentum, and things become easier over time as you replace yourself in the business, Well, thanks a lot, Scott. That's awesome. I'm glad to have you in the program. All right, Mr. Colton, you want to do a quick intro?
Let's do it. Yeah, so my name is Colton Tompkins, and I am the owner of Everlit Outdoor Lighting. My business is a little newer than the other guests we got on here today. I only started my business 8 months ago. I'm coming up into the 8th month, and I've been in the program now for about the same amount of time. So I feel very lucky. I've had a lot of good coaches in my past. I've learned the power of good coaching, and when I wanted to pursue this industry, I knew that if I got the right coach and I got in the right group, that it would just accelerate where I was and get me to where I wanted to go that much quicker. Because at the end of the day, landscape lighting secrets, there's a lot of really good secrets in there, but a big secret for me that I found to hack into is just being around people that are moving towards that goal with you, and being able to bounce things off them.
Yeah, very cool, man. I'm sure these guys are thinking the same thing I am right now. I wish that I would have had your intelligence at that age.
Yep.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and I definitely don't take it for granted. I know, I feel the fact that I've learned a lot of really good things, and I don't want to take that for granted. So, with great knowledge comes great responsibility. And I definitely hold that on my back. So I want to make sure that I do right with it and keep implementing, keep moving forward.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, it was so cool. Summit, I'm trying to, I think we have like 86 people in Landscape Lighting Secrets. And then we had 30, maybe 30 at Summit, 31, something like that. You're not numbers to me. So I don't keep track of the numbers, but I want it to be like you have to come. Like, if you don't come, you're not going to get success. I mean, that's not true, but it's so powerful. Like, getting to have dinner with people and just talk outside of like a Zoom call is completely different. And it was cool just getting to know people on that level and understanding that, they're real humans that have real pains and real struggles and real wins and real families and just all this stuff. So I loved Summit. I'm just grateful you guys came. Actually, Colton, let me ask you first, since you're new, 8 months, what's your biggest challenge been so far getting started in the industry?
I would say one of the challenges, one of the hurdles that I'm still hurdling and is still a battle every day, and I love it, is just implementing in the correct fashion, because I tend to get ahead of things sometimes. So for me, I like to see the big picture, which is great, and I love to think about that big picture and know where I want to go. But then looking at the day to day and the fine details of things, I do implement well, but I know there's always room for improvement with just doing the right implementations at the right times, especially as I'm starting. I know I'm different than, for example, Paul or Scott in their businesses and in their timelines of their businesses. They might be implementing something a little different, a little further down the line than I need to at this point to get me to that next goal so that I can scale from there. So that's been something, and that was a big thing from Summit. And I'm sure we'll get to talk about Summit, but that was a big thing that was reinforced for me as well. So that's been a big takeaway, is just implementing in the right fashion, which 2.0 addresses very well. You guys have the whole roadmap. So I mean, when you announced that, it was like, boom, that's it. That was totally. If I could have tweaked anything and given any suggestion, I wouldn't have even have thought of that to give, because everything's been so great. But I think that was a really good move on you guys' part. I think that was really good foresight.
Cool. Yeah. Well, it's an evolution. It's why we come out with a 2.0, because we've learned a lot. We've had experiences. We get to know people, and then it's like, oh wait, we're all at different levels, and there's certain fundamentals that doesn't matter what business you're in. You kind of always need to revisit. Like, you need to always practice dribbling if you play basketball, or always practice hitting if you play baseball. But there are different challenges at different areas, and that's why I think it's so important to not compare yourself to others, because it's easy to, like, for me to look at Paul and be like, man, like, what would that be like to be Paul Gardner? Like, he's freaking king, he's got a beautiful family. He's got all these businesses. Like, that's awesome. But I'm like, he's got different challenges than I do. So if I start comparing myself to him, and I'm like, well, he said he's struggling with this. Should I be struggling with that? Should I create a problem so I can struggle with that? Like, that's just going to throw you for a loop, because we all are on our own journey. So yeah, I appreciate you sharing that.
Sure.
Let's go to Secret Summit. Maybe just share your top 1 or 2 takeaways, something that you guys were maybe surprised about, that was different than you were expecting, or something that you plan on implementing over this next little bit. Paul, you want to get us started with your biggest takeaway?
Sure. So you might remember I had to take a phone call. I walked out, and you guys started doing the round tables. So I kind of got thrown to this table that had an available slot, and and so I ended up at that table, not really knowing the individuals at the table. Is Andy's wife named Melissa? Is that right?
Michelle.
Well, I'm glad I just said it on air.
No, this is live. So you're never going to live that one down.
You sit there and I recognized who she was, because I had met her prior, and I was just taken back by how much information she gave me as an individual who has been in business for 25 years, and just listening to her, give me a real life scenario of how they sell. And I was trying to pick apart some things for myself, even with my experience. I'm trying to expedite the process so that we're winning sales, that we're getting approvals on the spot. And so I wanted to hear from all the individuals, that were sitting there with me. I felt blessed to be at that table specifically. But it's funny, because when I sat down at that table, I did have my eye on another table. And I saw a specific individual. I was like, man, I'd like to sit at that table, but they're kind of full. And not that there was anything wrong with anyone that sat at my table, but I knew some of the individuals, or never really spoke specifically on these things. And I was just taken back by everyone's, intellect of what they do well, and the how they contributed within maybe 30 minutes that I sat there. Within 30 minutes, I gained enough knowledge to justify the trip. And so for me, that was a big takeaway, because I can't tell you how valuable just 2 or 3 of the things I picked out of that one round table I brought back to Virginia, and I'm already implementing and already strategically using them to get approvals. So anyways, that maybe I'm not as specific as you want me to be, but come to the training.
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, it's even though you kept it high level, I think it's cool for a lot of different reasons. Number one, I think it's easy when you do get success and experience to want to be like, listen, you young whippersnappers. I remember what it was like to start my lighting business, Colton. Let me tell you what you're gonna need to know, you know. But like, that's the cool thing about our group. Like, most people are not going to pay money to have an ego. Like, they're literally, you guys are coming here to level up at whatever level you're at. You know, you're there to learn. Doesn't matter how much experience you have. Doesn't matter how much of a badass you are at home. Like, everyone's egos gets stripped immediately. And then it's just like I had someone saying like, man, I felt like we were all on the same level. And I was like, you're not on the same level. You've only sold $50,000 worth of landscape lights. This guy's sold, millions or whatever. So, but it's cool because it's true. Like, everyone's there in the same mindset, trying to accomplish similar things.
Yeah.
So you're not going to give us a specific, huh?
Well, I mean, obviously, I had a lot of questions just about the marinade that you taught me 3 years ago. The price marinade, and realistically, coming from the background I did, that would not resonate as well B2B, business to business, and in the world I live in. So it was hard for me to embrace that habit or inject that into my business. But hearing testimonies of how that worked specifically for Michelle and some of the other individuals at the table made me realize that it is something we need to do. I can't hesitate any longer. I just got to do this. I got to believe in it and try it and do it. And so we've already done it, and we're already getting approved jobs just through that.
Nice.
So
okay, that's really cool because this my mind starts spinning when I hear you say this, because there's a lot of things in the content portal that became just like common sense to me over time in my lighting business. But at some point they weren't. They were just like, that sounds crazy or whatever. And so when you teach someone something that is, you think normal, but to them it's like, dude, this is not only bad, this is terrible. Like, you're probably thinking this is going to hurt me or whatever, right? So, I that's part of my 2.0 is to like enforce the law, the landscape lighting secrets law, because I've found that a lot of people are like, yeah, I don't do that. That's not for me. I'm not like that. And I'm like, whoa. Like, reverse, like, we got to go back several layers here, because that one thing, as minimal as it may seem to you, is going to, it's like a snowball rolling down this huge mountain. It's going to be this huge problem or this huge like change in your business later on, if you'll just do this one thing that seems so small to you to brush off like, oh, that's not me. And that's, price marinade is one of them, of course, but there's several in there that I'm like, in the past, people are like, yeah, I don't really do this or I don't do that, but the program's still great. I take what I want. And I'm like, no, you're going to start taking it all. Like, this is, if you want ultimate success, there's a machine here and you need all the parts to make the machine work. So that's cool. I'm glad that you share that, because that wasn't necessarily an intention when I was like, okay, what do I want for people to come away from Secret Summit? That was not on the list. So that's cool.
That was something for me that I needed, and there were some other things, and talking to other people, and Colton, it's funny because he doesn't give himself enough credit, but Colton motivated me just being there, and having his mother there too motivated me. So I'm thankful that you allowed her to come, or I don't know how that all was arranged, but the reality is
we're not anti-moms. Like, what do you mean?
But I think the same thing that you would is when I sit in a room full of other business owners and hearing their heartache and hearing some of the things they go through, it grounds you real quick. It doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter your biggest year versus their biggest year. You realize you have the same pains. And when you can start putting that stuff out there and just, almost like an accountability partner, like, hey guys, this is something I deal with. And right away, advice starts coming your way that you couldn't get from family members. You couldn't get in other social forums. And for me, that was huge, because I I'm always in these different circles, but I haven't been in that particular type of circle for a while. And I was thankful to be able to relay things that were industry specific and then come away with something that I could apply right now.
Very cool. I love that. It makes me think of people asking for advice from their family, or, you know, and it's like, that's terrible. Don't ever do that, because they will pull you down faster than you can even think, because it's like uncomfortable for you to succeed. Because what does that say about them, right?
Yeah.
And then
unless you're Colton's mom.
No, exactly. We're not anti-mom around here. Most family members, his family's special. Like their family is, holy cow. I'm glad she came too. At first I was like, wait, Colton wants to bring his mom? What the
What
heck?
a weirdo.
Yeah,
But we're not
seriously.
using mom. So you can bring her on. Everybody bring your mom.
Should.
I'm like,
That's right.
wait, is there a coincidence? He's the only guy from Canada, and he's the only one bringing his mom. Like, what's going on?
What's going on in Canada? What's
He's
happening in
Canadian.
Canada?
Wholesome up there.
Yeah.
It was so. Your mom's amazing. Like, I'm really glad that you brought her. I'm glad that I got to meet you guys.
Yeah, man, it was a special deal. If it's okay, Ryan, I just want to touch really quick and piggyback on what Paul said to take 1 minute. So a story that you don't even know yet. When I first got into the home service business, like this kind of sector of business, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I've been a business owner since I was 18, just like a young entrepreneur. I had a fishing charter company I still run, pivoted to cruises, but it's so seasonal, and I knew it wasn't getting me where I wanted to go. So I needed to level up. Long story short, I took the leap, and during my busy season, which is only like 2 months for tourism, I went to another training in Indiana, and I met Paul. And Paul was the person that spoke into me that made me feel like I'm supposed to be here. This is something that I can succeed at. I could go on for hours about this, but it's so funny how things work when you listen, you shut up and listen, and you go home and you implement. And Paul has no idea, but I've looked up to him so much every day. Everything that I've done, I see him with his family. I see him with his success in business, but so much more than just the business. And I try to emulate a lot of things that Paul does. I'm still working on that. And thank God I got a little bit of time still to work on that. But Paul was a big part of that. And it's funny, full circle, I walk into the room at Summit, and at the front table, right beside the table I was sitting at, is Paul. And I was like, how cool is that? That this guy that I consider like a mentor to me, that I look up to, that he doesn't even really know, is sitting right over there. So it's just a testimony to, you got to take the leap. You got to go to these things, because you don't know the next person that's going to change your life. It's going to pull you up with them. And there's a lot of great leaders out there. Ryan, you're a great coach. And I mean that seriously. And Paul, you're a great coach. You're a great mentor. There's a lot of people out there in that room that you can really look up to. So not to get on a tangent, but I had to.
Yeah, you're going to need to help. I'm about to get the tissues, man.
Yeah, you're the man, Paul. I love you, man.
You guys already know I'm crying right now, but I've got like a filter on so it doesn't show.
Yeah. No emotion.
I'm the guy of no emotion. You guys know that.
Yeah.
No, that's cool, dude. Man, that's killer. So what was that, at a holiday lighting training, or where'd you guys meet?
It was. Yeah, I was at a holiday lighting training, pressure washing and holiday lighting. Okay. And it was run by Jason Guyman, another guy I love. He and Paul were two of the guys that introduced me to this realm, and through a long story, maybe another podcast, I found you, and I found this specific niche of service business, and I fell in love with it, and here I am. Long story short, but it was because I was relentless in the pursuit of where I wanted to go, and I found people that made it real to me. And I've always had people in my life. I have a small family. I have a good group of people that I can look up to. But I've always wanted more and more and more. That's just the way I'm wired. Maybe that's why I'm an entrepreneur. But I found that more in Paul. I found something I could now reach to, because I felt like I hit a bit of a plateau in life in a lot of different aspects, and a lot of things have changed for the good. And I keep with the process and just keep showing up to these events. It's very important. Like I can't stress it enough. It's not an ad. Like, this is very important. Whatever you're in, you have to show up to these things, because that's where the value really comes out. And it just exemplifies the value within the portal too. I mean, it's all there, but when you show up, that's where the real things happen. You got to do it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, you got a good head on your shoulders, man. Your
Thank you.
perspective is huge.
Thank you.
So let's, Scott, you want to go share your biggest takeaway or two?
Geez, now I wish I would have met Paul a lot sooner.
For real.
No, I think that's great. Yeah, just the personal interaction was awesome with this thing. But I got a couple of more granular things. But I'm going to do the left field thing that surprised, or it didn't surprise me, but that I didn't expect to take away. And that was actually Jeff Later. I think I talked with you briefly about that, Ryan. So this dude. He's a freaking tree trunk. I mean, he's solid. But he just gave off this. He was humble as all get out. He just was trying to import some real basic things about taking care of yourself. Maybe it's just because I'm an old geezer in the industry, but and having gone through, I mean, I really tapped myself, but I was burnt out mentally and physically. But he just brought up things like, just realizing the daily stress that you go through running a business, and making time for yourself, taking care of your physical health. He had one of the quotes was, "Health is not a nice to have; it's a life necessity." That's could be one of the most important takeaways. Not lighting related, but it's like, dude, why are we doing this if I'm grinding myself into the ground? And if I'm providing for my family, but I keel over from a heart attack because I'm not taking care of myself, what was this all for? So it was just one of those, that was probably my slap in the face, or my big kind of like, okay, get off your butt and start taking care of yourself. Not just physically, which I need to do. And I'm on 3 weeks straight of 20 push-ups a day. That's my baby steps. I've made it so
dude.
far.
Sweet. I love it.
But again, working on boundaries. He talked about, setting time aside. I've taken texts in the lighting industry. We all take texts and calls at 11 o'clock at night when you're just relaxing. All of a sudden, hey, Scott, these 7 lights are out. Oh, crap. You start spinning. I need to work on getting some separation from work and concentrating on the bigger things. And then the work will fall into place and hopefully support the bigger things.
That's cool.
So that was my left field field.
Well, thing. I'm glad you shared it because, well, first of all, if you don't look like Jeff Later, in 12 months from now, like, we're holding you accountable now. You shouldn't have said that. No, that he's jacked. I guess. Were you? So you were surprised by that, and others were too, because they're like, "Wait, I thought we were talking landscape lighting the whole time." And you guys know this. Like, I love lighting. Like, I freaking love it. And design's important. Install. We have calls now that are just dedicated to those things. But I had these people come on to talk about our health, to talk about our mindset, because those things, they're the foundation. And if you don't get those, if you get those right, everything else can just be handled. Like, there's always an answer. But like, we can help you with your price marinade. We can help you with your sales process, the pricing. That stuff's easy. It's hard to be disciplined to do 20 push-ups a day. It's easy when you got the whole room doing it or whatever, but then when you're on your own and then the day gets away from you, whatever, it's easy to make an excuse. It's hard to be disciplined with your health and with your mindset. Like, those are the hardest things ever. And that's why we have these accountability groups and everything else, because it's easy to fall off. So I'm glad you shared that. Did you have any other granular ones you wanted to share?
Well, granular ones. One of the things was just, and this was not a specific speaker or anything, but from the other, pardon my cough. I told you I was going to do that. From a lot of the other people we talked with at our round table, which Paul was at. But just the reinforcement for me. I've gotten through all these years with doing very little marketing. I'm the guy that bragged about, it's all word of mouth. I'm so, and it was good. And I'm starting to spend that money, and writing those checks is painful, but I'm learning to do it, and I'm throwing it out there. And the reinforcement that, somebody said the first mailing is the hardest, or the first direct mail is the hardest, because I didn't see squat out of it. Second one, I got a couple results. We got some jobs closed. I got a third one coming up. But nice. This is one more piece of that reinforcement, and just other people sharing their same doubts that they had. So it just increased my confidence to spend that money and put the money in the marketing. So it's a little more granular business related, I guess.
No, but I love that. That's huge. I mean, if you don't ever get talked into that, you're just going to keep doing what you did now, and you're not going to you're not going to grow. There's never something that just magically happens where you're going to just suddenly have a TV show that follows you around and millions of people are going to want to buy from you. Like, it just doesn't happen. So taking an action is huge on that stuff. And when you see other people, it's working for them and how they struggled and it took them 6 months to get it up and running, it does give you that confidence. That's huge. Sweet. All right, Colton, how about you? Top takeaway.
Yeah. And there's a lot. I mean, I'll definitely go a little granular. I'll share something that's granular, but I think I really have to speak the truth, man. And the most important thing from that summit is being around the people. You're not going to get any further than where you believe you can go. And sometimes getting in those rooms, it allows you to think bigger, or it justifies in your mind, okay, my goals are okay to have. Like, you know, I see Paul over here. I can do my goals. I can hit my goals. I know I can. It gives you that sense of, okay, there's other people doing this too. There's other people that have big goals. I'm in this room. I can do this as well. So that's really number one. And just being there and being coachable, being a good student. And I mean, I want to say, I hope I can carry that on throughout life. And that's something I've always wanted to be good at is being a good student. So just showing up and listening and trying to take in a lot of the things between the ears. Cause like I said, and it is the truth. I can preach this all day. I've seen it so many times, even in my short amount of time here. If you don't believe it, you can't achieve it. You have to believe it, and you have to truly believe it. Sometimes that's the thing that'll put you over the edge, to truly believe it. Like we were talking about earlier, Ryan, you were saying that, you know, you were obviously guys like, yeah, I'd love to have that. And I was too. When I was younger, I was too. But then I realized I can have that. And if I'm going to be the guy that says, this is what happened to me, and not the guy that says, this is what I made happen, then I won't reach those goals. So just showing up and taking in as much as you can, making those connections. That was the biggest thing. The granular stuff is something I touched on before, is having that roadmap now with Landscape Lighting Secrets 2.0. So no matter where you are in your journey in landscape lighting and in outdoor lighting, there's a spot for you to slot in, to really slot in. Like, it's not all just in front of you. I mean, you have access to everything, but you have a roadmap. So when you come in, you really have a good roadmap now. And I love that. So that was a big takeaway for me, to be able to come home and really feel like, okay, I have a spot on the road, and now I can aim to the next destination. Little things like the price marinade, the little teachings that you have inside the portals. It's good to go over that in person, because it reassures it and justifies it inside your mind. Makes you see other people doing it and seeing their successes, or seeing people that, you know, that I view as extremely successful in the industry that maybe aren't using certain little tidbits, and they're saying, man, I should implement this. And you're like, okay, you know, this person's at this point and they haven't implemented this yet. I need to go home and implement this too. So just the little things, when you sign up, you go on the portal, you learn these things. But being there and having it reiterated to you is a big deal. It really makes a difference.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we've all read a book once, and then you're like in the middle of a chapter, or like you're like, I'm taking notes on my phone, like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe what they just said. This is going to change everything. And then you have like these 20 pages of notes, and the chance of you actually remembering, I don't know what percentage of it, and then implementing any of it is like so small. So it is getting comfortable with the fact that you're going to have to hear the same thing over and over and over until you not only implement it, but you master it, until it becomes just a common, like for me, the 20 push-up thing, it was really hard. Well, it was easy at first because I was like, it's 20 push-ups. It's just a day. And then after a while, I was like, man, this is hard. Like I want to go on vacation, and I want to stay out late at night, or just the discipline, whatever. But eventually, like, it becomes a habit. Like I always just naturally think of like doing my push-ups. I started flossing a few years ago. I know that's weird. People don't like to talk about hygiene, But like I never flossed. I would floss like before the dentist, and they'd be like, "So you floss?" I'm like, "No," and they're like, "Your gums are bleeding. You don't floss, dude." And so, but now it's just a habit. Like I don't have to have it right in front of me. I just am like, if I don't floss, it's just weird now, you know. And that's the thing. You have to make success a habit. You have to like find these little things and do them over and over and over, and have people just telling you from side to side until it just becomes part of who you are. It's your new identity. And that's kind of the hardest part is like, how do you do that? Which kind of come full circle. You do it with the community. We do it with each other, because if we're on our own, we are not going to win. Like this is it truly, as I said at Summit, success is a team sport. Like we need, as high level entrepreneurs, we need each other. Okay. And then we all need our own individual teams. Like we can't achieve our dreams if on our own. It's just not going to happen. So, you know, it's crazy because I've had a coach tell me before, and then now I've experienced it. It's like, it's crazy that I get to do this for a living, because I feel like I put these events together for you guys, but I take away like so much stuff. I'm like, man, if they're going to catch on, that I get to, that I'm an attendee too, you know, like, I know I got a lot of responsibility, and I'm supposed to be the guy that knows everything, but like I'm in the back of the room taking notes too. So I don't have the same opportunity to dive into the round tables, and I don't get the same experience. But I'm telling you, just being around the three of you guys and the whole group, really, I mean, everyone there on the same trajectory, same goals, it just builds so much energy, so much motivation for me. Truly blessed to be a part of it. I guess I'll open it up for the last few minutes here. Anyone have anything that they else they want to share? Anything they plan on implementing? Anything they already have implemented? 10K idea that you heard that you liked, or something like that?
If you want me to, okay, I'll start. I got a real quick one on a 10K idea just popped in my head. Something I really love that I heard was someone talking about becoming their client and being around their clients and really understanding who their clients are. So my big thing in life is always being true to yourself, being real, and being about what you do. And I think that goes in hand in hand with, you know, being a leader and leading by example. But I do also believe that if you want to be around your clients, you have to start thinking like your clients. Think about, you know, where do your clients get close? Where do your clients do these certain things? So something that I did about 3-4 months ago to get around interior designers and good referral partners was I went and bought a suit that I couldn't really afford at a place that I've never been to before. And it's funny how it works out. Just putting yourself out there, I've become really good friends with the guy that owns the shop. We go to events together, sponsoring golf events, and he's a great guy, and he connects me with a lot of really good people. And I met a lot of really good people that are going to be a big piece of the business moving forward. A lot of good referral partners. So that was a really big 10K idea. I think it was Michelle.
It was Michelle.
Right? Okay, I got the name right off. Yeah,
Sometimes
it was Michelle.
It goes by, what would you say? I can't remember.
Melissa.
Sometimes she goes by Melissa, but normally it's Michelle.
Oh yeah, I'll be calling her that for the next few years.
Yeah, exactly. No, and she won the, you know, just so everyone knows, we had 30 people share a 10K idea. So at minimum, it's a $300,000 session in value shared. But some of you guys had ideas, and some of them you can't really like put a dollar amount to. But like that idea, if she said, yeah, we got this deal was 50,000 or this deal 40,000. Like some of those were like few $100,000 ideas. I truly believe that there was $1 million worth of value shared from all of you guys. So that was spectacular. Yeah. Awesome. But I do agree, Colton. Like, I mean, what's that? You know, you went and you're going to write a book one day, and you're going to mention that story. Like the time I bought a suit I couldn't afford, you know?
Yeah. I couldn't afford it. The guy that walked in there, but the guy that wanted to be in there, that wanted those clients could. So that's what I had to tell myself. The guy that I want to be, the people that I want to work for can afford the suit. So I had to take that leap.
That's huge. Gosh, that's crazy. That's so good.
Yeah.
What did you have, Scott?
Oh, I'll just do it my short one, since we're probably getting close to winding down. And that is that I wrote down lofty personal goals that I put a lot of thought into. And I just had to expand it after that first day and include a Can-Am side-by-side in my goals after the trip we did. That was a lot of fun.
Okay, that's cool. That's awesome.
Keep it light.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, that's so important, man. I mean, again, and I said, like, write these things down like no one's going to look. Like, don't be embarrassed, because your old version of yourself, of the people you associate with, might be like, well, why do you care about that stuff? But it's like, no, we're all big thinkers. We get it. Like, why are you not thinking bigger? Like, get the Can-Am Turbo, you know what I mean? Like, get the custom one. So it's fun to be around other high achievers. So that's cool.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Did you have one, Paul?
Well, I will piggyback a little bit off what Colton was saying. I'm in a lot of groups. I'm in different industries, and I have the privilege, being a business owner in these different industries, to go to a lot of trainings, to lead a lot of trainings, and to be in a lot of different forums. And what I will tell you is what I found very unique about that group that I was with just 2 weeks ago is every one of them weren't settling for what the average landscape lighting company is doing. They're going outside of what maybe is normal or what is acceptable. And I heard it multiple times, but you just take that 10K, game that we played. It really was just a game, right? Everybody was trying to come up with the best version of a 10K, thing that you can inject into your business, probably to win the gift more than any other reasons, right? And so, but it worked. And when you heard all the different ideas, I would say that Scott, myself, and Colton all took away more than one idea. Although Michelle's idea was great, there was 3 or 4 already that I'm using and implementing into our business. So I just think it's really good to be part of a group that has such high level thinkers and people that are pushing the envelope. And really, I always say to myself, I want to be the bar setter in my industry, my local arena. And it's very hard, to be honest with you, when you're that kind of person, to not get distracted, because a lot of people do settle, and you start kind of saying, well, maybe I'm setting the bar too high. Maybe these are unrealistic opinions in this industry. Maybe I'll just do what everyone else is doing. When in reality, there is a small group of people, and I think you have a select few of those in your group. So for me, it was just it was something I had, Ryan, you and I have talked. I had talked about joining your group, and so thankful I was able to do it and make the trip to Utah. And so I'm looking forward to the next few years. We're gonna kill it, and the group's gonna kill it, and everyone that's part of this group is gonna kill it. So
I love it. That's, you did get the we had our like silly awards. I think you were late Luxoneer or last like
2 days before I signed up.
That's awesome.
Jumped on an airplane. I booked my plane ticket like 2 days before.
That's so
like,
cool.
all right, I'll go. And I met Scott too, on top of seeing Colton again. So, and just having, Scott's business card, to be able to call him, and a guy that's a 27-year vet in this industry and has loads of knowledge that I can learn from is just phenomenal. And like I said, nobody I found in that room is average, because that's difficult to find a room of above average thinkers.
Love it. Well, you guys are awesome. I know that Scott was probably most excited about coming on today, but you did phenomenal, dude. I mean, I did it. I can't thank you guys enough for coming on here, being vulnerable, sharing your stuff. Success is a team sport. I can't do it on my own either. And I need you guys just as much as you need me. Like, we really are a team. So I appreciate each and every one of you. Grateful for your guys' willingness to learn, to level up, your desire, because it pushes me. I mean, you think of where my mindset was 5 years ago to where it is now is like, it's going like exponential now. Like it's just going faster and faster, but it's because of you guys. You know what I mean? So this is a two-way street. Super grateful. And yeah, that's it. So appreciate you guys for coming on. You guys have a good one, okay?
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having us.
All right. You guys are amazing. All right, guys. Now just go take it with this stuff and try to implement it. Try to be better. Don't feel bad about yourselves, but that's how it works. We all got to start leveling up. All right, guys. Have an awesome week. See you next week.
Go get it.